Welcome back to the States. Now it's time for America's Talking, with headlines from across the country that you can find in the description below or in your inbox with the Center Square newsletter, free at thecentersquare.com.
I think that they will be attacking all of the assault weapons bans with this case that they're taking up. It's clear to me what we're engaging in is assisting the Attorney General in getting outside advisors and counsel for the case before the Supreme Court, and making sure that we have all of our ducks in a row to protect the rights of the people of this state that are protected by the assault weapons ban. That is what we're doing. The rights of people to go to a 4th of July parade and be safe and not have 48 people shot in with more than 60 bullets per second issued by a weapon that shouldn't be available to the public. So I'm pleased that we will have the opportunity to defend that law. This is a Supreme Court that I know starts out not believing in protecting that right to be free from violence, but I'm hopeful that they will hear the arguments and they will decide the right way.
And that was Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker this morning, reacting to the U.S. Supreme Court deciding this week to take up an Illinois gun ban challenge and a gun ban challenge out of Connecticut. And while Pritzker, who signed Illinois' law in January 2023, said he looks forward to protecting the law, Second Amendment advocacy groups say the law violates the Second Amendment right to keep and own firearms that are in common use for legal reasons, including self-defense. Meanwhile, the U.S. Justice Department suing California and Virginia Wednesday over new gun laws that went into effect the same day. The Center Square reporter Morgan Sweeney reports both states used their Democratic trifectas, a Democratic governor in both legislative chambers under Democratic control, to pass more restrictive gun laws earlier this year that went into effect July 1st. Now, California enacted a ban on Glocks and added to its handgun roster a list that limits the types of handguns citizens can purchase in California. There's been other efforts in other states to do something similar. In Virginia, they enacted a law that bans the purchase and sale in the state of most semi-automatic rifles and magazines that can hold more than 15 rounds. Now, multiple studies and surveys indicates that the Glock is one, if not the most popular handgun in the country, and the AR-15, including in the Virginia ban and other bans across the country that could be taken up by the U.S. Supreme Court when they hear this case sometime in the following term. AR-15, one of the most popular rifles. Now, the DOJ in their filing said that the new state laws are unconstitutional. The state of Pennsylvania began its new fiscal year Wednesday with no budget in place and events in the House, a testy face-off on one education-related bill, but bipartisan passage of another made it unclear if a deal was going to occur anytime soon. Now, the Center Square reporter Ford Turner reports closed-door negotiations failed to produce a 2026-27 budget with that Tuesday deadline. The fifth year in a row, the June 30th deadline had been missed. The House did pass a budget-related bill. The university funding bill provides for unchanged funding for the coming school year for Penn State University, for Temple, and for Pitt. The bill gives Lincoln University a 5% increase. State Representative Brad Rowe said it was a bit premature for the Pennsylvania legislature.
The overall budget proposal is about $6 billion out of balance. There are things the state must do, paying debt service on state debt, operating the state court system, the Pennsylvania State Police, various things that are mandatory parts of government that we have to spend money on no matter how tight money is. This is something that we do not have to do. I'm not saying we shouldn't do it, but this bill should be the last bill we vote on related to the budget, not one of the first bills.
That was a measure that ultimately did get through into the Senate for consideration. Now, soon after the House was discharged from the Pennsylvania Capitol, with members told to be ready to return with 6 hours' notice, the day before, the Senate was also discharged with similar instructions. And a new law would give voters in Georgia a say on whether they want school speed zone detection cameras. The Center Square associate editor Kim Jarrett reports House Bill 651 requires cities and counties to hold a local referendum before renewing or entering into a contract for school speed zone cameras. Voters will have to approve the cameras again every 6 years, according to the bill. Now, the legislation in Georgia also limits enforcement to 1 hour before and after school begins and ends. Law enforcement officers can only issue tickets if drivers are going more than 10 miles per hour over the limit. The bill, which went into effect Wednesday, waives the calibration rules that apply to speed detection devices. Georgia lawmakers have discussed school speed zone cameras over the past 3 sessions before passing House Bill 651 on the final day of the 2026 session. And we'll wrap up America's Talking with an overview of civics education from the Center Square education reporter, Esther Wickham.
As the United States prepares to celebrate America 250 on the 4th of July, the 250th anniversary of this country, a big focus over the past few months for the Trump administration has been civics education. The timing comes as students' performance in civics remain a concern. According to the National Assessment of Educational Progress, only 23% of 8th grade students scored at or above the proficient level in civics. That means that 1 in 4 students demonstrated a solid understanding of the nation's government and civic institution. In response, last fall, the Trump administration initiated America 250 Civics Education, which is essentially a coalition joined by more than 80 other organizations based around the country and predominantly in Washington, D.C., to essentially do a civics tour, going around the country, hosting various lectures and conferences for K through 12 and higher education to learn more about civics, especially the history of this country. Supporters of the 250th anniversary Civics Education Initiative say that it strengthens understanding about the Constitution, democracy, and the responsibility of citizenship for the next generation. Along with these nationwide lectures, there's also been student competitions with the Presidential Award of 1776 that encourages high school students to actually test their knowledge on American history. The Trump administration hopes that this initiative, along with these organizations, will not only last this weekend as we head into the 250th anniversary of the United States, but impacts the rest of the country and creates a lasting legacy for students and for all Americans to know about civics education.
And that's just some of what America is talking about. Get these and other headlines at thecentersquare.com.